Public humiliation of Putin. Zelensky and Trump have decided to team up and crush the despicable little Putin during a personal meeting. The humiliated Putin is scared and hiding, but this time he can't just send a double like he did in Alaska. Ukraine is taking back Crimea, Erdogan is involved, new missiles are being deployed by the Ukrainian armed forces and Turkey, and the targets for strikes are Russian military facilities in Crimea. Meanwhile, Putin has already started a new special military operation in Kazakhstan, planning to take the country in 3 days. But now China is entering the game and someone in the bunker is in for a world of pain. Greetings, friends. This is Mordor-News. Let's get started.
The American president has agreed to Putin's proposals. Donbass will come under full control of Moscow and the front will be frozen.
Calm down. Yes, Zelensky and Trump met again at the White House.
Right on schedule, to the minute, the guest and the host appeared at the entrance to the White House simultaneously.
And yes, this time Zelensky was wearing a suit jacket. For Trump and his entourage, in my opinion, this is a top event.
President Zelensky, you truly look absolutely amazing in that suit. I said...
The very same thing, remember, that's the one who actually attacked you last time. You see, now he's a really good guy.
But of course, the main thing is something else. Naturally, Putin believed he would force Zelensky to give up Donbass and other temporarily occupied territories.
Will he force Ukraine to accept such a deal?
But no, everything immediately went off script for the Kremlin scoundrel. You can go tell that fairy tale to someone in Alaska.
It's incredibly important that we thoroughly discuss all sensitive and delicate issues, particularly territorial issues, at a comprehensive trilateral level.
Well, let me translate from diplomatic language into real terms. Putin, you can't just sit in your bunker anymore, we're going to talk face to face.
And President Trump will try to organize such a meeting.
Maybe we'll even invite Trump so you don't run away out of fear. After all, you're a savage.
Ukraine would be glad if you joined us. If you want, I will come.
So Trump listened to this and thinks, yeah, it's time to set up a meeting with Putin for real. Why keep running away from Zelensky?
Shock in Washington. Trump interrupts a meeting with European leaders to urgently call Putin.
Well, yes, but before calling Putin, Trump forgot about the flag and the microphone, and the press and the journalist are nothing, just like that, and he whispers gently into Macron's ear. I think he wants to make a deal for me, as crazy as that sounds. Oh, Mr. President, besides being a maniac, Putin is also a coward. He keeps dodging the meeting, TTT. The Kremlin states that Putin and Trump expressed support for direct negotiations between the Russian and Ukrainian delegations, but Putin himself will not come. He says, I'm afraid let's do it without me.
Don't be scared.
Then Trump calls Putin again. Apparently he explained everything clearly and Putin kind of agrees to an in-person meeting with Zelensky. Putin informed Trump that he is ready to meet with Zelensky. However, the German leader Merz doesn't really believe it. I'm not sure Putin has the courage to meet with Zelensky. So, you get the idea. In any case, Putin's worst nightmare has come true. Trump and Zelensky are about to publicly give him a double humiliation. And here's the most important thing. For the face-to-face meeting with Zelensky, the real Putin needs to show up, because in Alaska they're saying that the Putin who was there wasn't the real one, it wasn't him. A psychologist claimed that it was Putin's double who came to meet with Trump. That's funny. But in general, the fact that Putin was afraid to fly to America is true.
Putin is afraid to fly to Alaska. There's panic in the Kremlin. More and more often, people are saying that it won't be Putin who goes to meet Trump, but his double. They say it's just too risky.
And in general, Putin's doubles, or maybe even triples.
Do you think he's gay? Of course. Did you have any doubts?
Well, that's a whole separate topic. Right now we're talking about the doubles. It's a total mess with all these Putin doubles. Sometimes, by the way, there are slip-ups. One of the not-quite Putins slips up when speaking. What?
What are you supposed to do on New Year's Eve? What do you do on New Year's Eve? Well, what? Sit with your loved ones, listen to the president? Keep acting like the president.
Oh, that turned out awkward. Well, let's try again. They say it wasn't the real Putin in Alaska.
Putin was the first to reach out for a handshake, but Trump abruptly pulled his hand back. Even the cameras felt a chill in the air.
Of course, a chill. Trump realized they'd slipped him a Putin double. Putin's loyal steed Lavrov, of course, tried to distract Trump with his idiotic t-shirt that said USSR.
And so...
By the way, it wasn't just Trump who noticed that the Putin in Alaska wasn't quite the real Putin. Did Trump actually end up meeting the original person in question, or was it still just a fake individual for the US?
A fake?
No, not the original.
This is psychologist and profiler Dmitry Popov, who has actually spent many years studying these fake Putins.
This is not original? No, this is not the original.
He knows what he's talking about? Listen.
In terms of athleticism, in terms of facial expressions that move in the places where there is Botox, but it does not move, the original Botox Nick will be bonkers. This is a double. And in my opinion, these are the closest. What I see is the one who was at the inauguration. So I call him the talker.
The talker, you say, but here he is at the 2024 inauguration. Well, yeah, kind of shabby.
The famous stairs of the Grand Kremlin Palace, the ceremonial staircases. The orchestra plays a fanfare for our president.
And here is that very talker in Alaska. He's bouncing around like Trump.
Yeah, he's athletic and young. I mean, he's not 72 years old and all that, of course. And all his limbs work just fine. The bunker guy has problems with his arms and legs. He doesn't hop around the airfield like an antelope.
Seriously, just compare them. The double talker, such a lively guy during the inauguration meeting with Trump in Alaska, and then there's Botox guy. I mean, really, Putin can barely drag his feet, clearly getting ready for the grave. What do you think about that? Well, apparently the Kremlin figured that the Western press would go after him anyway, whether it's the real Putin or a double. But anyway, let's get back to the meeting in Washington. Here, the White House released a photo where Zelensky and Trump are standing in front of a map showing the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. By the way, those territories will be coming home very soon. Take a look.
Moscow is in a panic. Ukraine has received new weapons to strike deep into Russia.
Moscow is definitely in a panic. But these weapons will be used not only deep inside Russian territory, but also against military targets on the temporarily occupied territories of Crimea.
A new attack on the Crimean bridge.
Yes, you won't have to wait long for this attack, but when it comes to Crimea, that's a whole separate topic. Let's go in order.
Why is Budanov already almost in Crimea, while your generals still hiding in bunkers?
Well, first of all, because Russian generals are alcoholics. For example, General Gurulyov.
The capitulation will be accepted in Alaska. We take our greatcoat and go home with victory for everyone.
Victory, you say? You should have a snack with that. How do you like that?
According to Ukrainian intelligence, he personally landed on Snake Island and on the gas platforms in the Black Sea. This is not just an operation, it's a challenge. Ukraine is getting closer and closer.
And now Ukraine is closer than ever to reclaiming Crimea. It is precisely this missile in service with the Air Force that will change a lot.
The first footage of the launches of the newest Ukrainian Flamingo missile. These cruise missiles are already being used in series against Russia and are delivering precise strikes on targets. Media reports say that several facilities on Russian territory have been destroyed.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Here it is, the very Flamingo missile, twice as powerful as the legendary American Tomahawks. Here are the details. Flight range up to 3,000 kilometers, warhead about 1,000 kilograms. Speed up to 900 kilometers, launch mass 6 tons. But do you know what's most interesting? Here it is.
But this is a purely Ukrainian development.
Can you imagine some purely Ukrainian development will be tearing apart Putin's army together with a purely Turkish one?
Well, they've totally lost it, haven't they?
Ah, beautiful.
Turkey has surprised the world again. The new Typhoon ballistic missile flew 500 kilometers and hit a target in the Black Sea, right at the edge of Crimea's reach.
Yes, that's right. It's Turkey's leader Recep Erdogan who has always said that Crimea is Ukraine, giving Putin yet another little present.
This isn't just a weapon, it's a clear signal to Moscow. Ankara has a long-range fist.
All the more so it's no coincidence that Budanov visited Snake Island. The fact is, in Crimea right now, things are really heating up.
It's very frightening.
Airfields have been blown up, and most importantly, the Parachute 24 has been hit.
That's the Saki airfield burning, Russian fighter jets have been destroyed, and this is just the beginning.
The armed forces of Ukraine have once again delivered a devastating blow to nuclear aviation in Crimea. Russia's key airbase located in Crimea is currently on fire.
The whole base exploded. Everything was burning.
Well, things are really wild in Crimea right now.
Comrades, friends, what's going on? There's no connection. Telegram isn't working. WhatsApp isn't working. You can't call anyone. And even trying to send SMS doesn't work.
Forget about SMS. In Crimea right now, you can only get gasoline with ration cards. It's 2025, and these so-called liberators are a disgrace.
I went to the gas station to fill up, and they said they're out of gas. Now they're only giving it out with ration cards. Even lubricants are rationed. What's going on? It's like we've gone back to the Soviet Union. It's happened.
This isn't even the Soviet Union, it's some kind of...
a rubber butt.
By the way, the rubber butt isn't just Putin's, it's also a feature of Russian propaganda. I'll show you now. Yes, in Alaska it was even more so, not just for Putin, but for his loyal hamsters too. Look, they're being kicked out of the meeting room.
Yeah.
This isn't your cozy Kremlin bubble. There in Alaska, the Americans made it very clear to the Russians where they stand, quickly and firmly, so there would be no misunderstanding.
Allowed humiliation for the Kremlin in Alaska. Instead of luxury suites, they got cots in a stadium.
The cots were actually incredibly uncomfortable.
That's the look on my face right now because I just saw where we're going to be staying. Guys, this is how we're going to be living, and we'll film it and see for ourselves.
Did we expect luxury accommodations? What luxury conditions could there be? Washing up in basins? Propagandists? That's what you are.
There was no door, so I just put up this board instead. And I blocked the entrance because otherwise everyone would just walk in like this.
Well, actually, the Kremlin delegation was really put up in a hockey stadium, but it all makes sense. This is the Russian world, a hockey country after all.
Those who once threatened to take back Alaska are now spending the night under the American flag, and Lavrov, wearing a USSR sweatshirt as a reminder of a country that no longer exists, was shown in the US. Here, Russia is nobody. Well,
yeah, taking back Alaska, that turned out to be just a Russian dream. You'd be better off going to the dentist instead of thinking about Alaska.
Alaska already belongs to Russia, so we needed President of the Russian Federation, Putin.
Well, how Kubiva and her friends, the propagandists, wanted to return this very Alaska to Russia, that's a whole other conversation.
We suggest it would be better to give Alaska back to us.
Heat dissipative. Well, that's what they call Alaska. Ice cream. Yes, this is necessary if you want to return to your family. If
you leave it on the human islands, someone will go to Alaska. Do you have a table? Will you carve a generally good body?
A good one. That's your return. We're used to it, and will always do so. So in principle, $7.2 million for which Alaska was sold isn't such a huge amount that we couldn't find it and offer it to our American partners to consider the question of returning Alaska.
California should go back to its original home in Mexico, Fort Ross to its native ancestral shores.
By the way, why didn't they take Skabiva to America? What do you think? Is she only sent to North Korea to be fed to Kim?
The first live broadcast in human history from the DPRK. I really hope it doesn't get canceled.
No, not like that. I really hope I don't get arrested, that's what Skabiva wanted to say. Well, as for the visit to North Korea, they sent that blonde guy Shaman over there. What a disgrace. He was entertaining the North Koreans. God, this really seems incurable. All right, let's wrap up with the embarrassment of Russians in Alaska.
We need to stop lying. It's time to stop lying.
Exactly, Margot. So Simonian, who's always overheating, decided to be sarcastic about Ukraine. Our journalists who flew to Alaska on a special flight were served chicken Kyiv on the plane. So don't get too happy over there because the Americans decided to starve you out completely, which, by the way, is a good idea. Now listen to Skabiva and Simonian's buddy.
Unfortunately, I didn't get any sleep, but at least I managed to eat well. Ironically, they served chicken Kiev.
At first, the guy thought it was funny simply because he wasn't hungry, but then he spent some time in the United States, got hungry and realized things were bad. And you get used to it. Nobody likes you anywhere, not in Africa, not in America, nowhere.
I was really delighted with breakfast today. A bowl of air, a few pieces of fruit, and yesterday's tuna salad that's been sitting here since yesterday. And there was also, oh, here it is, a box of chips.
Why are you whining? You ate your chicken Kiev, didn't you?
Well, friends, I have to give credit to the organizers for the huge supply of completely free water they've provided.
But seriously, friends, Putin needs to be finished off right now, otherwise he won't stop.
You have to strike first.
Now this brawler wants to start a new special military operation, this time against Kazakhstan.
The GRU in Kazakhstan. Russian intelligence is ramping up its activity.
Yes, in the Kremlin they call all this Astana in 3 days. Putin has long said that Kazakhstan is considered a brotherly nation, talking about this triune state and other such nonsense.
Kazakhstan is practically a Russian-speaking country.
Let's get into the details of exactly how the Kremlin is now waging this hybrid war against the rest.
Undercover agents, diplomatic visits with hidden agendas, and attempts to pressure local elites. But why is Moscow getting involved where it hasn't been welcome for a long time?
No one has been waiting for you in Kazakhstan for a long time because the local president wants to be friends with the powerful of this world, with Azerbaijan, with Turkey, but not with you losers.
Kazakhstan is increasingly drawing closer to Turkey, the West, and China. And the Kremlin is afraid of losing control.
Don't you still get it? You've already lost control over Kazakhstan.
They just blatantly lied to Kaduli.
Once again, Kazakhstan has been friends with Turkey and China for a long time. So Putin, you'd better be careful over there. What's with your face anyway?
China is already pulling Kazakhstan into its own orbit. While Moscow is bogged down in war, Beijing is building a new Silk Road that bypasses Russia, turning Kazakhstan into a key transit zone.
By the way, here are more details on how China is basically kicking Russia out of Kazakhstan.
Russia is quietly being pushed out of its own spheres of influence. Kazakhstan is handing over the construction of 2 nuclear power plants to China. Rosatom gets only 1, and the rest goes to the Chinese company CNNC.
In short, Putin is really playing with fire here. Just imagine what Xi Jinping will do to him when he finds out that Putin is threatening, wants to go to war against China's strategic partner, Kazakhstan. He's going to get in serious trouble. By the way, the leader of Kazakhstan, Tokayev, who likes to put Putin in his place? Yes. So this very Tokayev has once again slammed Putin's face into the pavement. Kazakhstan has surpassed Russia in income.
Kazakhstan has overtaken Russia in income. For the first time in history, Kazakhstan's GDP per capita is now higher than Russia's. While Moscow spends billions on war, Astana is investing in the economy. The neighbors are moving forward while the great power is sinking into crisis.
So to sum it up, if Putin really tries to start a war with Kazakhstan, he'll just get crushed, destroyed, and so on. Pick any word you like, any of them will do.
We don't meddle in other people's business.
Oh, you do meddle, and how? Well, this is Russia, the land of Mordor. Take care.